What's up, everybody? This is your boy Quaz. Got another PD for you. For those of you not in the podcast business or know the podcast lingo, PD stands for podcasting. See, so now you know. I'm gonna get into all the football junk. But I'm having a shitty day, man. Recently, my other vehicle, my method of transportation, broke down on me. And it appears that the dealership that I got the car from is at fault. But they're not claiming any responsibility whatsoever, right? See, I got an oil change. I'm not gonna name the dealership. I'm not like that. I'm not that petty and whatnot. But I got to deal with them where they do all my oil changes on the car. So I did this oil change, and then about 2.5 weeks later, I noticed oil dripping from the bottom of my vehicle. I called it in. And they're like, well, can you bring it in right away so we can look at it and fix it? I'm like, well, I can't right now. My wife took the vehicle to work, but I'll bring it in as soon as I can. They're like, okay, very good. Long story short, the car ran out of oil that same day. Had to get it towed to the dealership. Dealership looked at it, and they're like, well, we checked the screw on the oil container or pan or drum, that's tight. We checked the oil filter, that's tight, but we cannot pinpoint exactly where the leak is coming from. And this is key right here, what they just said. They cannot pinpoint where the leak is coming from. Are you kidding me? You guys are trained mechanics. You guys have trained mechanics, ASC certified mechanics, and you can't tell me where the leak is coming from. Number one, it's either one, you guys shitty mechanics that don't know what they're doing, or number two, it came from the screw or the filter, but you guys don't want to claim responsibility. I'm going to go with number two, right? So now, I'm in a big, legal battle right now. Well, the legal battle is just starting. I got a lawyer, and he goes, you can very well have a case where you can file a claim for damages and so forth. I'm going through the process of going through my lawyer. At the same time, my insurance company has written off my vehicle as a total loss, and I'm trying to recuperate whatever I can from the insurance, from the dealership, and the gap insurance that I had purchased. So, right now, in order for my insurance claim to go through, I got to have the original paperwork for the vehicle that I purchased from the dealership. I called the dealership last week. They said, okay, well, we got to retrieve the paperwork from our warehouse, because if it's over 2 years old, we send all that paperwork to the warehouse. All right, okay, I'll buy that. I'll call you in a week. So today I called him, and the guy I'm dealing with, he says he spoke to the finance manager, and finance manager is saying that we purchased the vehicle in cash. Like, this is total bullshit. I know we financed it because I made monthly payments on that car. So dealership is giving me a runaround. Number one, they're not claiming responsibility for the mechanical damages that they did to the car, and now they're claiming that I never financed it through them. I have to let my lawyer know what's going on. I have to let the insurance company go on. It's just a lot of runaround, a lot of hassle, and my wife's out of a car. I have to drop her off and pick her up from work and whatnot. It's just a hassle. If you fucked up, say you fucked up, minimize the damages and move forward. What the dealership had offered me, they're like, well, we can put in engine for you, a new engine, which will cost you $10,000. I'm like, dipshit, I don't have $10,000 for a new engine. They're like, well, if you don't have money for an engine, we can trade in the vehicle. I'm like, what's the trade-in value? The vehicle's a total loss. And we went through the process of going through the trade-in. No value for the car coming in, like maybe $1,000. And they're like, well, can you put any money down? I'm like, no. And they're like, well, can you do this or that or this? I'm like, no, I can't. What do you got for me? They're like, well, we can get you into a brand new vehicle at about $500 a month for the payment. I'm like, motherfucker, my last payment was $350 and now you're jacking it up. It was $250, I think. $250, and now you're jacking it up to $500. Fuck you, no thanks. You're gonna be hearing from my lawyer. I hate this, you know. If any of my listeners have been through any of this bullshit, hassle through dealerships or whatnot, anything that what I may be going through, please tell me what, you know, what can I do? Can I go through my insurance? Am I doing the right thing? Is going through my dealership, or not the dealership, my lawyer, or should I listen to the dealership? You know, because right now my best, you know, action is going through my lawyer, legal action, filing a claim, and trying to get whatever I can for the lost vehicle that the dealership fucked up on. You know, God damn it, I hate this shit, and you know, I don't like to be in a pissy mood when I do my podcast, but it is what it is, you know. Someone pisses in your Cheerios first thing in the morning, you know, it's going to have a ripple effect throughout the rest of your day. You know, I'm going to be in a pissy mood, and God damn it. Let's go through some emails. I know I've been promising I'd be reading listener emails for a while now, so let's go ahead and do that. We got Mary from Chicago. She says, hey Quaz, I'm so happy that you're finally back on the air. I did find you on YouTube, and I saw all the podcasts that you've done so far, and I listened to all of them. First of all, Mary, thank you for that. My viewers for the podcast have steadily been going up, so please continue to keep listening, keep bumping that number up. I do appreciate all the listeners that have tuned in for the week or so that I've been on YouTube. Mary also goes on to say, like, WTF, why are your podcasts so short? They're only 15, 16 minutes long. Mary, that's a great question. I don't have an answer for you. I'm trying to figure this shit out. I know YouTube videos are longer than 15 minutes, but right now I'm trying to figure out all this technical stuff. And once I do promise that the podcasts are going to be longer than 15 minutes. But for right now, I'm sticking to what's working. I did have a bunch of videos, not a bunch of it, one or two from the weekend that I wanted to put up and share with you guys, but I just couldn't figure out the technical nuances, you know, the editing and whatnot to get them up. But you know, more and new content is definitely on the way. We got Rob from New Jersey. I'm not sure where. I think it's Trenton, New Jersey. He goes, hey Quaz, thanks for the heads up on the New England pick, dipshit. You know, Indy managed to cover. I'm like, yo, that was a surprise to me as well, you know, Indy covering. I was expecting a blowout, but the game was a lot closer than what it was. Look, I ain't going to call all of them right. And look, this is just my advice. You know, it ain't gospel, it ain't scripture, it ain't written in stone. You know, it is what it is. You know, if you listen to me, great. Put money on it, great. If you win money, great. If you don't, you know, don't kill the messenger. You know, I'm just giving you my advice on what I think. You know, other people, they're like, you know, they're telling me about Michigan and Michigan State. Who could have predicted that wild ending? You know, it was a great game. I watched all of it, and the ending was unbelievable. But I did pick Michigan. I mean, I did pick Michigan. Did I pick Michigan? No, I picked Michigan. I didn't pick Michigan State. I picked Michigan. So it was close. So, you know, at least Michigan covered, right? I think the spread was 7, and Michigan State won by 3 or something. But the game that I watched and that, you know, broke my heart, my Florida Gators went into Baton Rouge and lost to the LSU Tigers. My opinion, the game was closer than, you know, Gators lost by a touchdown, right? Which was heartbreaking for me. But they could have won. It was close, you know. Fournette got his yards, right? I think he had like 150, 170 yards. And the quarterback, Harris, the quarterback for the Tigers, you know, was a bit of a surprise when I was watching it. Both of the quarterbacks for LSU and Florida were named Harris. And my nephew and I were like, you know, we're freaking out, like, both are named Harris, you know. But the quarterback for the quarterback for the Tigers He just made more plays than quarterback for the Gators, you know. But the thing is, Gators are still in it. One loss. We got lead of the SEC East. We play all our chips right. We'll be heading to the title game in Atlanta in December. And the way the playoffs are looking, you know, right now it's Ohio State's to lose, it's Baylor's to lose, and it's TCU's to lose. You know, along with Michigan State. Those are the top four right now. Ohio State's got a tough road. You know, they got a big showdown with Michigan State coming up, and then they got Michigan to end their season, and then they got the Big East or Big Ten championship game. You know, is Big East even a conference anymore? I don't think so. You know, I don't even think they matter anymore. They got such poo-poo teams in that league. You know, fucking Big East. They just got basketball teams. That's it. You know. Big showdown, Ohio State, Michigan State, and if Ohio State survives that, and Ohio State just named J.T. Barrett their starting quarterback over Cardale Jones, I'm going to go with Michigan State. I hope Michigan State upsets Ohio State, or beats Ohio State. I'm not saying upset. I think Michigan State is a better team than the Ohio State University. Ohio State's been struggling the whole season. I think they're going to lose, if not once, twice, both to Michigan State and Michigan. And Harbaugh's going to have his team honed in for the Ohio State game. That's the make or break game for both teams each year. Other than that, other takeaways from college football: Alabama beat Texas A&M. Alabama slowly coming back into the picture, but they got a lot of work to do, and a lot of teams have to fall and lose before Alabama can get back in the picture, and I don't want them in the picture. They got a big matchup coming up with LSU, and then they got to play Auburn, so it's going to be a tough road for Alabama. Both Baylor and TCU still look strong against whoever they were playing. I think West Virginia and someone else. Until they're challenged, we don't know if Baylor and TCU are for real until they play each other. That's going to be the big game, right? You know, just like Ohio State and Michigan State, it's going to be Baylor and TCU when they finally lock head or butt heads against each other. The NFL games, I watched the Redskins just cough it up to the Jets. You know, Kirk Cousins with his another pick six. I mean, come on, man. Redskins they're a sham. They're a mess. You know, Jets are for real. The defense is for real, and if they get a running game and Fitzpatrick doesn't fuck it up, the Jets are for real. You know. Other takeaways: Buffalo. Just injuries are the name of the game this season for them, and it looks like Bengals are for real. Very impressive Bengals. And then Cam Newton and the Panthers beating up on the Seahawks. And I think this is just there's maybe not just a knee-jerk reaction, but I think the Seahawks will not make the playoffs. Not the way they're playing. And a lot of teams, they saw the blueprint that both the Green Bay and the Packers gave to the rest of the league last year in the playoffs. This is how you beat the Seahawks. And a lot of teams are following that scripture. And a lot of teams are beating the Seahawks. Seahawks have not been that impressive this year. Other takeaways, not much, you know. I don't even know who's, I think it's Eagles, Giants in the Meadowlands. Take the Giants. You know, Eagles are still a mess. And Giants, they look to be the most consistent team in the NFC East, you know, if that means anything. I'm not going to put any money on it. I lost too much money this weekend already. I'm just going to recuperate from my losses and maybe bet on Thursday, Friday games. You know, I had bet on Boise State on Friday and they let me down. My parlay didn't, play out the way I liked it to, the way I wanted. Yeah, the only way I would have liked it is if all 10 teams won, right? but my parlay and my weekend was pissed upon very early when Boise State, couldn't cover, right? I think they lost. That would have, Anyways, I digress. The other thing I wanted to mention on the podcast, Larry David from Seinfeld, fame, and then also whatever show he had on HBO, the Larry David Show, or Curb Your Enthusiasm, right? He was on SNL Saturday night, and I only watched the opening, but that was the only part that really matters, right? SNL did a skit on the Democratic debate, and Larry David, he played Bernie Sanders, and he killed him. If you guys haven't seen that skit, Google it. It was funny as hell. The other guys, that were covering Hillary and O'Malley and Chafee and Webb, I think it was Alec Baldwin, he did Webb, and it was funny as hell. YouTube it, Google it, just that skit. And Larry David was funny as hell. He was funny. He just knocked Bernie Sanders out the park. I don't know the lady that did Hillary. It was kind of funny, but at other points, at other moments, it was kind of stupid, so didn't really care for that. Look it up. I thought it was funny as hell. Movie recommendations. I'm going to be checking out Jurassic Park, Jurassic World that's coming up. Because I'm on Netflix schedule. As all my listeners know, I'm on Netflix schedule. And San Andreas. I was supposed to get them through my Netflix mail, but for some reason I got some poo-poo movie. I think my daughter, she ordered one of her art house movies, like Perks of Being a Wallflower, which you'll watch for the 10,000th time, right? But I'm looking forward to watching San Andreas and Jurassic World. So do check those out if you haven't already. Other than that, I'm reaching my 17-minute marker on this podcast. So I don't want to push it, because when I pushed it last time, I wasn't able to upload the video. All right, everyone, thanks for listening. This is your boy Quaz. Hit me up on quazemotoshow@gmail.com. Look for me on my YouTube channel, Quazemoto Show. And other than that, peace.